Hello students, once again I welcome you all to our online classes, and in this class I am going to deal with the classification of English consonant sounds, and more specifically I will speak on the three-term label description of each of the sounds, its division into three categories, that is, what are the voiceless sounds and voiceless sounds. Second, the manner of articulation. And third, the place of articulation. So first of all, let us try to understand that a consonant sound is a basic speech sound in which the breath is at least partly obstructed and which can be combined with a vowel to form a syllable. So a consonant sound is impossible in the absence of the vowel sound, or at least a vowel sound. So in the articulatory phonetics, a consonant is a speech sound that is articulated with complete or partial closure of the vocal tract. So let us see here now the difference between the two. A vowel is a speech sound made with your mouth fairly open, the nucleus of a spoken syllable, whereas a consonant is a sound made with your mouth fairly closed, right? So that is the essential difference between the vowel sound and a consonant sound. So let us look into the classification of consonant sounds in particular. As I said in my introduction also, the consonant sounds are classified in three terms on the basis of the following. Term 1, you need to identify whether the sound is a voiced sound or a voiceless sound. Number 2, you have to find out the place of articulation. Once you identify the place of articulation, that is the second label. And the third label is based on the manner of articulation. How do you actually articulate a sound? That is called a manner of articulation. So on this screen, I have projected one diagram, and holistically, this diagram will comprise all these three term labels. Label 1, whether the sound is voiced sound or the voiceless sound. Term 2, the place of articulation. And the term 3, the manner of articulation. So how do you identify the voiceless or voiced sound? Whenever I have provided a couple of sounds in one particular slot or the box, it means the first sound is a voiceless sound, second sound is a voiced sound, right? So accordingly, you can consider it when I elaborate each of the sounds over there. Now, first of all, you need to segregate all these sounds into different categories. In English consonants, or as far as the English consonants are concerned, there are 6 plosive sounds of English. Paba, tada, kaga. There are only 2 affricate sounds, cha, ja. Then you have 9 fricative sounds, fava, thada, saza, shaja, and ha. There are 3 nasal sounds, ma, na, ing. You have only 1 lateral sound, l. There are 2 semi-vowels, y and w. And there is 1 frictionless continuant, that is r. So this is the division of various consonants of English. Now, let us talk about the place of articulation of all these sounds. Based on the place of articulation, the sounds are classified. Classification number 1, bilabial sounds. Only 4 bilabial sounds are there. Pa, b, m, v, p, b, m, v. So both the lips are the active articulators in the case of the bilabial sounds. Bi means two, labials means lips. Then you have two labiodental sounds, f, v, f, v. What do you mean by labiodental? Lower lip moves towards the upper front teeth, makes a contact, then the production of the sound is possible. That's why it is called labiodental. F, v, f, v. Then you have a couple of dental sounds, th, the. So active articulator is the tip of the tongue and the passive articulator is the upper teeth. Okay, so that's why these sounds are called dental sounds. Th, the, th, the. The blade of the tongue move towards the passive articulator, that is upper teeth. That's why it is called dental sound. You have alveolar sounds, alveolar ridge or the teeth ridge, that is a passive articulator, and the blade of the tongue move towards this particular passive articulator. So these sounds are called alveolar sounds. There are 6 alveolar sounds: t, d, n, l, s, z. The active articulator is the blade of the tongue or the tip of the tongue, and that move towards the passive articulator teeth ridge. So this is called alveolar sound. Then you have one post-alveolar sound, that is frictionless continuant r. So the active articulator is the tip of the tongue, no doubt about it, and the passive articulator is the teeth ridge. And that teeth ridge, near the teeth ridge or the post-alveolar position, the frication of the tongue takes place, and that's why it is called r, which is a frictionless continuant. You have a palato-alveolar. There are 4 palato-alveolar sounds: ch, j, sh, j, ch, j, sh, j. They are produced by 2 simultaneous articulations: blade of the tongue as the active articulator and the teeth ridge is the passive articulator. The front of the tongue is the active articulator and is raised towards the hard palate, which is the passive articulator. And that's why these 4 sounds are called palato-alveolar sound. You have only one palatal sound. The active articulator is the front of the tongue and the passive articulator is the hard palate. So here this pronunciation takes place: y, y. You have a couple of velar sounds, k and g. The active articulator is the back of the tongue, passive articulator is the soft palate, and that's why it is called velar sound. You have only one glottal sound, h, which is produced by the movement of the vocal cords only. The pulmonic air that comes from the vocal cords finds some friction in the vocal cords here. The pulmonic air that comes from the lungs finds some friction in the vocal cords here, and without any hindrance, the glottis is open, and through the glottis, the air passes through the mouth cavity without any disturbance. So it is called a glottal sound, h. And this is how we generally categorize sounds that I have classified based on the place of articulation. Now I will switch over to the manner of articulation. What do you mean by the manner of articulation? It means how do you actually pronounce it and how exactly. That means the manner of articulation. So there are different types of manners also. You have plosive sounds, fricative sounds and all. So let us talk about the plosive sounds first. There are 6 plosive sounds. Why do you call them the plosive sounds? You call them the plosive sounds because the pulmonic air that comes from the lungs, that is suddenly released and there is a kind of plosion in the air. That's why these sounds are called plosive sounds. So, p, b, t, d, k, g. P, b, t, d, k, g. These are the 6 plosive sounds in English. Here you have 9 fricative sounds in English. Why do you call them fricative sounds? When the fricatives are produced or pronounced, air escapes through a small passage that results in the hissing sound, and that's why these sounds are called fricative sounds. F, W, Th, D, S, Z, Sh, J, and H. So these are the 9 fricative sounds in English. Now you have affricate sounds. There are only 2 affricate sounds. Why do you call them affricates? Because again, a kind of friction takes place at the time of the production of the sounds. They begin as plosives and end as fricatives. So they are called affricate sounds. Ch, J, Ch, J. Then you have the nasal sounds. There are only 3 nasal sounds. M, N, Ing. Because the production of the speech takes place through the nasal passage. That's why they are called nasal sounds. The air escapes through the nose. Soft palate is lowered. That blocks the mouth passage. And that's why air is getting free from the nasal. That's why these sounds are called nasal sounds. And you have a lateral consonant, L. A lateral consonant is one in which the passage of air through the mouth does not go in usual ways. That basically happens in the case of other sounds. In this case, the air passage is released by both the sides of the tongue, and that's why this sound is called a lateral sound. And because of this complete closure along the center, the only way for the air is to escape from the sides of the tongue. That's why this is called a lateral sound. You have frictionless continuant R. Only one sound is there. The soft palate being raised, and therefore the nasal passage is shut off. The tip of the tongue is held near the neat part of the teeth ridge, and the rims of the tongue touching to the upper side of the teeth. When you produce this kind of sound, there is a considerable friction at the blade of the tongue, and that's why it is called frictionless continuant R. And here you have the last one, that is semi-vowel W and Y. So in the case of the production of these two, there is an articulation in which you find that the articulators approach each other but do not sufficiently close to each other to produce the complete consonant, and that's why these two are called the semi-vowels as such. So this is how is a description of the place of articulation, the manner of articulation, and now in nutshell I will let you know what do you mean by a voiced sound and a voiceless sound. Here you have the vocal cords. When there is a considerable friction in the vocal cords at the time of the production of the sound, such sounds are called voiced sounds. And when there is no considerable, mind it well, I am using a word considerable. If there is no considerable friction in the vocal cords, such sounds are called voiceless sounds. Because without friction, no sound is possible. The role of the vocal cords and the glottis is nothing but to create a kind of sound over here. Then only we are supporting in the nasal cavity or the mouth cavity or the pharynx as needed. But without friction, no sound is possible. But when there is a considerable friction, such sounds are called voice sounds. And when there is no considerable friction, such sounds are called voiceless sound. So this is how is the 3-term label description. That is whether the sound is a voiceless sound or a voiced sound. Number 2, the place of articulation. And number 3, manner of articulation. So thank you very much for attending this class.